What was your takeaway from the Bitcoin conference? And any insights or things you walked away surprised by?
Yeah, there wasn't really any huge announcements. I didn't feel like not like last year. Last year there was a lot of kind of big announcements, but I just think the biggest takeaway for me was the amount of people there. It was incredible to have 25, 30,000 people there coming for a Bitcoin conference, coming to talk about Bitcoin. The fact that it just keeps growing every year, I think, is a really good sign of where we're going. No surprises, really. I thought what Jack announced is pretty cool. I think that's one of those things that doesn't feel like a big announcement, but when you really look into it, it's quite a big deal. I'd like to understand more about that, so I'll talk to him at some point. I also think you look at the guests, we had some big guests last year, but now you've got Jordan Peterson there, Eric Weinstein's there, Odell Beckham Jr. is there,
Aaron Rodgers, Serena Williams. It's crazy.
Yeah, and these people, I mean, especially someone like Aaron Rodgers, he isn't just there for the sake of being there. He understands Bitcoin. He invests in Bitcoin companies. So I just think
very based.
Yeah, he's very based.
Yes, he is.
But it's clearly breaking out now into an even bigger mainstream. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, what are we trying to achieve here? Sound money for everyone, then it's a good thing because more people are aware. It's becoming more acceptable. I also think it's we're starting to get a real kind of regulatory protection now because so many people hold Bitcoin. You're seeing that shift with politicians now, whereby actually, politicians really, they're just hunting for votes. None of them really stand for much. And the game theory works out that so many people have Bitcoin now that you're starting to see a lot of politicians come in who are pro-Bitcoin. I mean, you probably have the same as me. Everyone wants to try and come on your show. Oh, I'm pro-Bitcoin. Can I come on your show? And
what's your policy? Like, do you want to do politicians or no?
Not for the politician's sake. If they're interesting and they've got something cool, I'd have Senator Lummis on because I know she's a Bitcoiner.
Yeah,
I know it's
so you try to put some sort of test on, like, do they actually understand it or are they just kind of grandstanding?
Case by case. Yeah, I would have Ted Cruz on because I think he's kind of put himself out there and
I do case by case as well.
Yeah, it's case by case. Most of the others, we've done one and we do a second one. It's exactly the same interview. And actually, when you dig in, most of them don't really understand Bitcoin. I think Eric Adams is a great example in New York of how you can get rug pulled on Bitcoin. I mean, he came out as a pro-Bitcoin guy and then once he gets in power, he starts chatting bullshit. So, is
Eric Adams the biggest disappointment in the intersection of politics and Bitcoin so far?
Absolutely. I mean, he rug pulled everyone. I think he's a disgrace. And I think I can't see any change in New York since he's come in. I mean,
what do you mean that he rug pulled everyone?
Well, he said he was pro-Bitcoin. I think he even had Bitcoin in his profile.
He said he's going to accept his salary. He'd take 3 paychecks in Bitcoin.
And then he just starts to attack Bitcoin mining straight away. And so I just think he's a disappointment. He didn't understand Bitcoin. He's full of shit. So yeah, he's a disappointment. But I think there'll be plenty more like this. But I think that will work against them as well. If you're going to use Bitcoin as a way to get votes and you're going to rug pull the Bitcoiners, that's not going to end well for you.
Do you think we'll get to a point where being pro-Bitcoin is a requirement for these politicians running for office?
I mean, are we?
I think in red states already is. I think you're already there in red states. What'll be interesting to see what happens in the blue states. I know you had Ro Khanna on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things for me right now in Bitcoin is that that Bitcoin doesn't become some kind of partisan issue. And that's really important now. And you can certainly see it go in that direction. Elizabeth Warren is not particularly helping the cause at the moment with her FUD that she's spreading about Bitcoin. So I think it's very easy to engage with Republicans who are pro-Bitcoin. I think actually what's more important now is where you actually talk to Democrat politicians and trying to convince them and convert them. So actually, that's a good point, Pomp. If a Democrat wanted to come on, I'm more likely to take them than a Republican now because I really want to see if they do understand this. And we're about to go through the same in the UK. We've had the Europe itself has been very anti, let's say, crypto broadly. I know you cover shitcoins here, but
we'll get into it.
Europe has been very anti-crypto, not pro-crypto at all. And I think the UK has finally realised now that we're out of the EU, this is an opportunity for the UK. And Rishi Sunak has said, we need to understand and accept crypto. We want to be the center of the world for crypto. I think they're a bit late for that, and they're behind El Salvador already. Let alone the US.
Is that the thing that they should try to do? Right? Like if I was a politician, do I want to be the center or should I actually just optimize for let's get in the game? Right?
Exactly. That's what it should be.
To me, it's like when you say we want to be the capital of the Bitcoin industry. That feels maybe there's 2 to 3 places in the world right now that have a shot at that. I would say Texas has a shot at that, right? I would say El Salvador has a shot at that, and maybe we could debate, 2 or 3 other cities, right? Miami, maybe, but it feels like without the mining or without kind of going all in, it's hard to do.
But the UK could be the center of Europe.
Exactly. Like that's a more obtainable goal than we somehow are going to convince everyone to give up where they are and move to Europe.
I mean, look where all the Bitcoin companies are. The majority are in the US. You've got a few scattered around. You've got like Ledger in France, etc. And Hodl. I can't remember exactly where they are in Europe, but the majority is here in the US. A lot of the big exchanges, and some out in Asia, and then some on some weird tax beneficial islands. But I think what the UK needs to do is just be pro Bitcoin, even pro crypto. I think it's hard to be pro crypto and pro Bitcoin and anti crypto. But I just think they need to create an environment where people can buy, trade, and build businesses with cryptocurrencies, and that's all they need to do to begin with. So I think we're starting to see that. Matt Hancock has been pro crypto, and there's like 3 or 4 others who have been, and Rishi Sunak said he is. So we've got to see whether they are real about this or whether it's just going to be another rug pull. But hopefully UK will.
Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.